have the opportunity to look at the most familiar psalm in the Bible. Probably one of the most familiar passages in the whole Bible. Today we get to explore the beauty of Psalm 23. Psalm 23 begins with the beautiful phrase, "The Lord is my shepherd." Now I'd like you to imagine for a moment that the Lord God, who loves you and treasures you, the Lord God is peacefully standing over you right this very minute. Just imagine that. So the Lord God is standing over you. The Lord who loves you and treasures you is standing right over you. With all the powers of the universe in His hand, God is protecting you and guiding you. You are His, and there is nothing in this life and nothing in this universe that can take you from Him. It is a blessing that we have the baptism of Cody May this morning to remind us that this is exactly what happens for you when you are baptized into Christ. God's Spirit enters into you and your life. You become one with Jesus, and God will never let you go. No matter what worries or dangers the future may hold. So that's how the psalm begins. And that is how our life of faith begins. And then you learn to want everything. First, you have your basic desires for food and shelter and safety. And sometimes those needs are abundantly given in your life. And sometimes they're not. A baby cries outright when their needs are not met. Sometimes you and I may cry outright as well, but oftentimes you get irritated or angry when your needs are not met. Or you get fearful or anxious. And yet the psalmist projects a sense of calm security, no matter what the outer circumstances of the world may offer. I suspect that most of you here today have enough food in your house or your apartment. There are those who do not have enough food, but for now, let's stay with you. You have enough food, you have shelter, so most of what you desire or want are beyond your basic needs. Maybe you want a bigger house, or a newer car, or you want to move out of your apartment, or you want a partner, or you want a different partner, or a different job. The psalmist reminds you that you already have what you need. Maybe what you're supposed to be learning at this stage in your life is to look around and truly appreciate the abundance in your life. From the abundance of food, to your intelligence and social skills, to your friends and the beauty of the world around you. Maybe what you're supposed to learn is acceptance. That life is God's abundant blessing to you. But life is not about fulfilling every desire that you have, because there will always be more desires on top of those. Appreciation, acceptance, even thankfulness for all that you have, all that you see, and all that you know. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. Through all of these things, the Lord restores your soul. You may occasionally get knocked off balance in life, but if you continually cultivate an awareness of God's presence in your life and an appreciation for the wonders and the simple joys of life, then you will be much more easily returned to center, to your peace in God. It's like, have you ever seen those little, they used to advertise those little weeble that wobble, but they don't fall down? Well, that's how life can be. You still have your center. Sometimes you get knocked off balance, but if you're centered in this peace of Christ. Now the next one, concerning the shadow of death. Every one of you here today is dealing with the changes of life. Maybe it's the loss of childhood and innocence as you grow into maturity. Maybe it's discovering the pain of loss, the loss of a romantic interest, the death of a loved one, even the aging of your body and the loss of strength and vigor. All of these losses point to the fact that your life is constantly changing. And you want to hold on to the good parts. You want to hold on to the good people. And yet all of life has changed. You are not a permanent part of this world. You are simply passing through. It's sort of like a tourist driving from one beautiful vista down to the flowing stream. Maybe you get to go to a museum. Maybe you get to dive in a pool and lounge in the sun for the afternoon. Maybe you get to parachute out of an airplane. All of these are excellent experiences, but they are all passing. The same is true of the people in your life. The same is true of your life. Love the people around you. Treasure them. Enjoy life. Enjoy your love, your strength, your pets to the fullest. But these are not for you to keep, except in the kingdom of heaven. You can carry these experiences with you into eternity with Jesus. With this understanding, you do not need to grasp or control. Just love. Enjoy life. Love, love, love. And then with the Lord, you know that there is even more abundance awaiting you. And you will fear no evil. You will fear no loss. Because the Lord is with you. Always. And now the psalmist would have you consider your enemies. If you can't readily think of any enemies that you have in your daily life, just think of politics. And you should be able to find some good, right enemies to consider. You know, as human beings, we often define ourselves by things that we don't like, rather than what we do like. We often define ourselves by what we disagree with or hate, rather than what we agree with or love. It is the standard way of living. And yet, there is another way. When you truly appreciate the deep sinfulness of humanity, you will not be surprised at the stunning greed and self-centeredness that drives most people and corporations and politicians. And at the same time, try to realize the absolute terror of losing your great wealth, our great status in society. If you understand unbridled greed and gut-wrenching fear, then you can understand why most of the truly rich and powerful just continue to go along to get along. In the same way, you should not be surprised when corporations will try to get away with whatever they can. Those companies have top executives which are just acting from the same motives and fears as the politicians. So you should not be surprised when the environment gets thrown under the bus in pursuit of riches. Glaciers melt, coastlines disappear, the great coral barrier reef, 1,000 miles long and 1,000,000 years old, is quickly dying. You should also not be surprised when politicians demonize immigrants and people who are different from us. It is always easier to unify people by creating a common enemy. Fear is a powerful tool. But you do not need to define yourself by your anger towards the greedy and powerful. The world has always been this way. Just take a peek at any era in history. You should define your life, rather, not by what you hate, but by what you love and care for. If you love people, then care for them. Especially care for the poor. They need it a lot. And if you love the environment, do what you can to support it. Recycle, compost, plant a tree. And in the words of Jesus, love the people around you. By this they will know that you are my disciples. Every person around you is bearing a heavy load. You just don't know what exactly it is. So love them. Have mercy. Share your hope and peace. And in this way, the Lord will prepare a table before you in the presence of what you may have thought was your enemies. In reality, people are just people, and we all share the same hopes and dreams for our families and for life. And the love of Jesus will anoint your head with oil, and your cup will overflow. Surely, goodness and mercy will follow you all the days of your life. And as you live in these days, as you live in Jesus, you shall dwell in the house of the Lord all your life long.